This is the most outrageous update in Photoshop history. I know what you're thinking, you're probably skeptical, and that's good, but let me show you what I mean. That is insane. Yes, Adobe Photoshop has AI in it now, kind of like Firefly, but inside of the app. This feature is called generative fill. Let me show you how this works and how this is going to change the game for designers and artists around the world. Here's a standard stock image from Unsplash. It looks great. Let's say I wanted a boat in this image. Now I've got a few ways of adding a boat in. I could go to Unsplash and type in boat and mask one in and then change the lighting accordingly. Or what I could do now is use my selection tool here. I can just make a small selection here and this box will appear down at the bottom. This box is pretty neat. This is where the prompt goes. So I'm just going to type in small boat. I'm going to press generate and it's going to start generating. Now this is where it gets wild. Boom. There's the boat. The crazy thing about this is it's just like AI that you've normally seen that creates these other images. It uses diffusion to create this. This boat does not exist. It is not an image of a boat. This is another image from Unsplash. When we select, we'll write in puddle, just something really simple. This is where it gets crazy. It follows reflections. Do you see the rippling there? It's ridiculous. It's insane. I don't know how to say it more so than that. It took me 2 seconds to do that. Let's say in this image, I want to have like a beach hut as well. So I'm just going to select here, generative fill, beach hut. Is going to do its loading thing. And that looks a bit medieval. Let's have a look at other ones. That looks okay. That one looks better. Now, the crazy thing is we can choose from 3 of them, which are in the properties panel here. And we can get rid of the ones that we don't like as well. The black one looks okay, but this one looks cool. Again, it follows the same lighting. It feels like it was already in that image and I'm just bringing it back in, or it makes it feel like I'm a really good manipulator inside of Photoshop. Sometimes you'll get really bad results, like this one. But those are terrible results. Let's do that again. Boom, look at that. That's insane. Let's look at the other ones. That's good too. When we select and then generate one of these images, it creates a new style of layer, which is called a generative fill layer. This is what this is called, the generative fill. And it's non-destructive and you see it here. So if I was to just hide these, I would call this, reflection, hut, clouds. And in each of these layers, you see that we still have our variations in the property panel here, and we can regenerate them when we want. Now, if I was to hide the background and we can have a look at what's been generated, you can see that it takes part of the image that we were working in and overlays the actual, uses diffusion to overlay it somehow. Either way, it comes up with these really interesting results, not all the time, but some of the time. Another crazy example is adding things to images. Here's another one here where we have just some hands and I'm trying to put some rings on and we were able to get a ring to be put on this dude and it follows the light source of it too, which is incredible. And that is just by me writing, place a gold wedding ring over the finger. Some of the other ones didn't work so well. As you can see here, it goes a bit crazy. Have a look at these ones. Sometimes it's just holding a ring, but how good does that ring look? It's even got what appears to be the reflection of the hand in the ring, giving it that ultra realistic look. On the left hand here, where the wedding ring is supposed to be, by the way, it was just holding the 2 wedding rings. And this is basically the same prompt changed ever so slightly. The results weren't perfect. Let's do something else. What about in this corner here, we have a fence. Picket fence. Let's generate that. So that doesn't look too good. That looks good. I wanted it to sort of go down, but it kind of thinks I'm wanting it there. But I don't mind the look of that. It gives it a bit of foreground. Let's try it again. We can just get rid of that layer. It's non-destructive. There you go. It's got a bit of a strange angle. I'm sure if you kept going, that one looks cool. Look, it's even taken it from the sand. There's reflections in the sand. There's water pooling around the bottom. Here's another one I was working on, which was beforehand, which I wanted to show you the examples. Here's the beach hut that we got. Here's some birds that we've put in, some seagulls, and we're even able to put more water coming in from behind too. Some of them didn't look too great like this, but that looked pretty good. Look at how the water is there. Let's see what happens when we try to put in a city on the horizon line. So when I've added city on the horizon line on this generative layer here, it's done it. It's added a city, but it's also screwed around with my dude. I don't know what's happened to his head. And it's added some flowers to the beach hut, which is so strange. It's replaced the top of the beach hut. It doesn't look perfect, it's AI, obviously, but it looks pretty decent. One last one, giant beach ball. Look at how realistic that beach ball is. It's got shadows. This one's got a dude behind it. That's more of a balloon though. But how crazy is that? It's got a nice shadow there, this dude, and the lighting works pretty well too. It looks like it's been professionally put in. Outrageous. Now, since AI has become a huge topic, a lot of graphic designers and artists believe that they're going to be replaced by AI. Now, I'm happy to be sort of validated in my opinion today because I don't believe that to be the case. I believe AI to be a tool. And what Photoshop has done really well here is implement AI as an actual tool for people to use. So instead of using stock imagery, even though this is all licensed by Adobe, all these images and the data set is from Adobe stock, so they have the rights and ownership over it so that we could use this for commercial use later down the line. And it's a tool. We're creating images ourselves, we're directing what we want without having to do lots of masking, without having to worry about the lighting too much. We can command it what to do. This Photoshop update is literally the biggest update to Photoshop since layers. So what does this mean for us as graphic designers? Is this the end of the world? Is this the end of artists everywhere? No, this just makes it a ton easier to get the images that you want. The process of doing things may change in the future. The process of creating, imagery may not be from stock websites anymore. Those stock websites may become what Firefly is. Maybe those stock websites will just be the data set in which we use to gain the images that we do via diffusion. So the questions that I'm asking myself when I see technologies like this is, one, is it going to replace me? I don't think so. Will it help? For sure it will. It will save me time. 3, what's the ethical implications of using this? I don't see any problem with using this style of AI. I do think there's a gray area within other apps like Midjourney and DALL-E where they take data from places that no one's given permission for. However, when you look into AI and the way that it learns and the data sets, we all do that. Everything's a remix and nothing's really original anymore. This is the biggest update and it's amazing. It's going to change things. I can't state it enough. This is where we're going. I would love to know your thoughts though down in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think it's good or do you think it's bad? Let me know. I want to hear it all.